Okay, so it's very exciting to go live after 1 week. And we're live. Keith,
Oh.
let's do this.
Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
I was on the toilet. We're getting ready for the show, and I saw pop up on Reddit our buddy Bad Beef. Always one of the Beefcake, it says. I wonder if this is the same guy. Is it? We have a lot of beefy listeners. I got so bummed when Keith and the Girl is on break. Looking forward to new episodes dropping. That's funny. I was in there dropping. Also, I hope you guys are actually enjoying your time off. And I wrote back, it's like a minute ago. That's all you had to say. Let's do a show now. This Beefcake says, is that all I had to do? Wow. Okay, I'll keep refreshing. I said, we'll do one live just for you. People say, why do you have so many shows with Keith and the Girl? We're up to 3,728 episodes that are only in the main feed, that are only specifically Keith and the Girl. And it's because I want each and every Keith and the Girl listener to feel like they have at least one show that was just for them.
That's why we have to do so many more.
Yeah. Do you have the app, keithandthegirl.com/app? You got your fancy new phones. Make sure you got the iOS app. It's pretty cool. Easy VIP access right there for free. And you're going to love it. Did you hear whenever, not too long ago, it was October 4th, and all the phones buzzed, and it was a national emergency testing your phone?
Yes.
A lot of Amish got caught having phones in their communities.
Stop it.
Because you can't turn it off. You can't have your room on side. If you're in a business meeting, everybody's going off, so it's not a big deal because it's everybody. But
I didn't think
the
of
Amish
that.
community, they're busted.
Oh my God, now I'm thinking of so many other things. I'm thinking somebody's hiding in the closet because they're cheating and their spouse just walked in and then the emergency thing goes off. I'm thinking you found out your child has a phone because they got it through a friend or something.
You're being robbed. You're hiding under a bed. You're doing a mission. You're on a mission, whatever that could mean.
There's got to be like a thread of all the people who got caught with something.
Right.
That's so interesting. You know what? It was an emergency test. It was an emergency test of the truth.
It was somebody's wife just going, that works for the company. It's like, let's get to the bottom of this. Gotcha. This leader of Ohio Amish country community says, we dislike technology as it weakens the family structure. We like to stick to nice, pure things like family and tomato throwing and incest. Yeah, I see. This would be it's a little too much for them. But
do you think, do you sometimes go, do they have a point? No, they don't. No, they don't, because I'm not even in the same room as you right now. So they don't.
Right. You think that like the simpler ways, you probably recycle your dumps into corn. Maybe that's more exciting than all this, technology and misinformation. But then I was at a Cracker Barrel of all places, and they have their little gift shop. And one of the books in there was 20 most asked questions about the Amish and Mennonites. And I got this a long time ago, but I have 2 places earmarked just to remind you about this community. Chapter 13, how are their women and children treated? The first paragraph, an old order woman is a worker. And by the way, a dude wrote this. An old order woman is a worker, a childbearer, and a companion to her husband, family, and neighbors. She is too busy to participate in a discussion about her own liberation or fulfillment. She would likely prefer to finish painting the hall upstairs. Not painting. Painting the hall upstairs. Right. Iron the waiting dozen shirts. Make soup for the funeral tomorrow. And do a little quilting before the babies wake up and the other children get home from school.
The babies and the other children. Because yeah.
Chapter 17, first paragraph.
I'm sorry. I'm too busy to listen to this. I got to go tend to something.
Right. Don't they believe in having fun? That's what us normies might say. Like, don't you guys can't have fun, right? You can't have apps on your phone. Most old order people are proof alive that it is possible to have fun without a TV, a wind-up toy, a well-proportioned doll, and golf clubs.
Is she a well-proportioned doll?
A Barbie, I would guess.
A well-proportioned doll. Doesn't that scream like slutty doll
Yeah, yeah.
or like a provocative,
Right.
giving our girls a little few too many ideas doll?
A Satan enhanced doll. Here are people who manage to enjoy life without the assistance of the entertainment industry. That doesn't mean they feel deprived, self-sacrificing, or against fun. They
I'm
just make
sorry,
their
but
own.
okay, but it's weird with these, really lockdown communities because they're like, what about entertainment? And you're reading a book, and a book is considered entertainment. So who wrote this blasphemy of
Right.
entertainment? Who allowed for such things to happen?
Visiting or playing ball or going to a sale comes as a reward at the end of a long workday or week.
Is that a sale like on the river? Like on a
Oh no,
no?
that's you go shopping for somebody else's quilt.
Let me ask you this. Technology is not a horse and buggy. That wasn't considered technology.
You
The
gotta live.
wheel is not. No, just lights. Is lights technology now, or is there
Lights is
still
technology.
lights is technology? All right. So if it takes a little bit for the men in the community to figure out how to do electricity,
Then
that's
it's
not
too
for us.
much.
It's not
Right.
for us.
The rest of they can't build a car engine. That's where it starts.
Right.
The
They're
rest of
like,
the time,
well, then we have to ask other men to help us, and the women will know that we don't know how to do everything. Right now, we're in a community where we know how to fix absolutely everything.
fun happens as one works. Good stories while canning peaches. Dating one's brothers while daring,
What?
excuse me.
Oh,
I don't know.
what?
Hey, it's a slip, but I don't know. I've heard things. Daring one's brothers while stacking hay on the wagon. Throw,
Maybe that's how some religions originally went wrong. Just mistakes in the writing. Maybe it
right.
says date Eve, but it really just said eat a date with Eve.
Daring one's brothers while stacking hay on the wagon. I bet you get in trouble. I'm going to guess the dare is like, can you jump off this piece of hay? This hay. And I bet you get in trouble if you get caught. Or throwing rotten tomatoes. If they're rotten, you can throw them.
But at what? And then
At what cost?
right. I'm
Whose
sorry, but
expense?
I don't have time for the family because I keep having to pick up and clean rotten tomatoes off of everything. So
Well, if you have an hour break after a long, hard week, you
yeah,
can throw the rotten tomatoes, but spend like half an hour and then half hours cleaning up.
right.
But
And
you can laugh at that about how you're cleaning things up.
right, like, oh, this looks like blood. I wish I was bleeding out. Oh, haha.
Kill myself. I'm Amish.
This.
Well, anyway, we got Keith and the girl for those that believe in technology, and it's good to have you aboard.
Oh, and also,
Yeah,
by the way, Pizza, who's listening in,
a lot of food items.
yes, Pizza is saying also people in prison got caught with phones.
Oh yeah,
Didn't think of that. I did say children. Some children do believe they're in prison in their parents' home. That's a different
right.
story, but yeah.
Yeah, they got caught too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Your
Oh my
vacation.
God.
Yeah.
Sorry, spouses with second phones.
Yep. Yep. Technology's going to catch you, or the government, or both.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
I want to hear about your shitty vacation because you never come back happy. I stayed here and it sounds like I had a better time. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what?
First of all, I'll tell you this: me and Craig did make peace,
What does
and
that mean?
it means that I do realize, as upset as I was, I didn't need to blast it the very fucking next day without thinking about it. Like later, I do want to play a clip from a VIP show that we did recently where I am upset at people, but I had years to think about it. I could have calmed down for a day.
I need to find pearls. I gotta clutch them. Hold on.
So I agree.
How did you come to this?
Well, Adam Brown was the moderator, if you will, but he really just misses us playing Destiny together, to be honest.
It's not fun being friends with just one of you at a time.
Well, it's funny because he got us on the phone together. He's starting to talk.
Wait. Did he hold on? Listen, you
Yeah.
and Craig have had a 20, almost 30-year relationship, right? You blew up on him a couple of weeks ago on the show. I'm for brevity, you blew up on him, right? Just so if new people are coming. And he randomly came into the chat a couple of weeks ago.
Unrelated to what I'm saying today, yes.
And just started hanging out. And that was a whole thing. Okay. And then, so did Adam, who is the third friend in the group, did Adam say, I want to get you on the phone to talk to each other? Or did he surprise three-way?
He said, he said about how about let's play Destiny, something like that. And he was talking to me on the side, like, hey, what do I think I did wrong? That means I know he was talking to Craig on the side. Then said we're both into playing Destiny, so we'll meet at Destiny. Destiny's on.
Now, didn't Craig give away his was that a lie? Did he give away his? Didn't he say he gave away? What did he play on Xbox?
He said he was going to give away his Xbox because.
Oh, but he didn't. Oh, Craig. Okay.
And I was thinking I'd ask a listener to buy it from him, and then I'll buy it from the listener. And I thought that'd be funny, but we didn't get there. And so we turn on Destiny, but we have to really talk about what's going on. For like an hour, we're not playing. For a little hour, we're arguing out our points. We're on the game, but we're not in each other's house. I'm just saying that was like the connection, the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's not really important, but yeah, we turned on the game. Like, okay, we're gonna play the game. No, we're talking instead for an hour.
Okay.
And then sometimes Adam would try to jump in, and it's like almost like he's the person that he's getting us together, but like in the wrong way. Like, Adam, shut up! I'm trying to talk to Craig.
So you both got into a fight with Adam, and you made up.
And then we made up. But yeah, of course that it felt very good. But I was gonna say I agreed that I shouldn't have lost control and bitch about it publicly so fast. And he agreed that space is indeed stupid. And we were able to come together, and now we're pals again.
Wow. So this is all, how do you guys talk on Destiny? Are you wearing the headsets?
We actually do. We didn't even, Destiny is the excuse. We actually just.
We all understand that, Keith. We know.
We just call on the phone regularly.
Oh, okay. And you put headphones on?
I happen to have headphones. I'm doing a lot of pacing. Yeah.
So a lot of pacing.
Yeah.
Okay. And not you guys are almost 50, so no one's on FaceTime.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
That'd be weird too, having an argument, but you got to keep your phone up. And
that's funny.
Yeah. You're
Girl, I'm mad. Do you see my face?
Okay, we'll do it on Zoom. Updating. All right, hold on.
Now, did this happen earlier in the week, and were you tempted to go to Joshua Tree? Will there be a Joshua Tree meet
someday?
Am I going too fast?
You're going too fast. Well, no, I mean, I really think we're fine. But we didn't make different plans. This happened.
Is that because you don't know when the next time you have off is, or?
Right. It's Thanksgiving this year. The this happened Tuesday. I know because the chat was next day, Wednesday.
And did you share with the chat what happened?
A little bit.
I love how you just are coming on here like it's regular. This was your face. I mean, please, everyone, go to YouTube. Your face the last month. How long has it been? Your face the last month was like, I'm fine. It's like, okay. I remember you got divorced, and it wasn't this dramatic. You got divorced. You didn't get as heated. You didn't yell. She basically said, I think we need a divorce. And you're like, what, am I going to fight you on it? Okay. And with Craig, you're like, why do you think I'm like that? Why don't you know me yet? Why would I do that to you? Not your wife. Your wife, you were like, well, listen, if you have a reason to divorce me, what am I going to do? Argue with you? Am I right? And with Craig, you're like, oh, we've known each other so long. How am I going to sleep ever? Okay. All right. Shout out to Craig.
But we could admit space is dumb, right? I mean, blue moon. Oh, now we got a fat moon. Now we got a dark moon. Haley's comment when it comes around. Now we got Nikki's cup. Then we have something every day. Who gives a shit? Every day I open up my fucking news app. It's like, today, this thing happens only once every 80 years, but it's going to happen a different one of those tomorrow. And then we found common ground.
I think he meant space from each other to stop.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought that was dumb and needed fix.
Well, you guys listened to each other differently for a second and it went awry. Congratulations. Right. Welcome back.
Now, let's hear about your hell.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. So you took a bike ride, dumbest vacation I ever heard, and you were going to go just far. You're riding your bike far. In fact, because we were talking with Rod about this stupid trip, you showed a picture of you like it's somewhere, a little quaint, eating, who knows what, tomato and mozzarella, like it's a thing on a park bench, and it's like, oh, I bet that's so good because you fucking earned it, and you're like, I did. I rode 700 miles. I'm like, oh, enjoy. How stupid. You have an electric bike, right? Or half electric or what?
Pedal assist. So I have
Pedal
to
assist.
pedal, but if I go uphill, it feels like it's going straight.
Okay. So that must make it fun, right?
Yeah. And I love pedaling. I don't like going downhill because you're not doing anything. So I like pedaling.
Oh, you hate the fun stuff. I don't like when it goes wee like a roller coaster that you would pay for. I don't like that. Too much wind in my hair.
I'm wearing a helmet.
Yeah, let's get back to this Amish talk. That's when you have the real fun, when you work for it. Kind of goes to a spa, but goes, can I massage them?
I cannot explain this, why it's
no,
so good.
You can't.
I can't, but it's so nice. It's so nice.
So how'd it go? So it worked out then.
So I told Rod and Keith about my trip on last week on Keith and the Girl before I went on it, and they could not get over how stupid it sounded to them.
Dumb.
So then I took pictures along the way, and I sent them this night picture like of what you said. It was like a bench. They have so many benches along the way for miles, and you could just sit there and look at nature. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to send them this picture to be like, hey, look what it looks like,
Picture
where I'm going. You
benches.
thought this was stupid.
Picture before benches.
and
you're like, I could sit on the floor, I can stand, but there's got to be a way. Well, in the future, hopefully our kids can have benches.
It's so thoughtful. It's it's miles just for us bikers, and you sit down and enjoy a lunch. We brought sandwiches. It was so lovely. So I send this picture to you guys, and I forget which one of you said, they were like, oh, I bet that was a highlight. And I'm like, it was. And I didn't realize you guys were being sarcastic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is crazy. Yeah.
I love it so much. So fantastic.
Great.
And I think it's like 30 or 40 miles to White Plains, which is close to where the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is what I want to do like the next day, following day, right? So we come in after like 30, 40 miles, and the hotel is like a mile off the trail. So as soon as you get off the trail, I'm like, can't believe it. Here's White Plains. What a feat. And my bike gets an error message. I'm like, how the bike gets an error message? Now I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Where do you get an error message on a bike?
Well, it's electric, right? So there's a screen that tells you how fast you're going, which number speed you're on, and how many miles you've went. And we have like the same miles on our bike that we do on the car. So it's a little ridiculous. Anyway,
I think that's more nuts about you, but go on.
So the bike has a motor issue, and who knows how to do that? What is that? That's not your battery needs to be plugged in. Now I'm like, this is such an opportunity to freak out, and I didn't freak out, and I'm so proud of myself. And so go to the hotel. All of the bike shops are already closed, so can't do anything about it. So it's just a regular day. And then the next day, there's one bike shop close, one bike shop that fixes e-bikes. They open at noon because bike shops are so, anyway, call them up and realize they don't open on Wednesday, which is the day it was. They have that day off. They're open tomorrow. I'm thinking,
are you stranded?
Yeah, I have to like either rent a bike to go back home or find a train. There's trains.
Can you bike normally?
I could bike on a normal bike. I biked. Well, long story short, it got fixed. And then my battery got, I went on another long trip while I was there. My battery ran out. I had to go 10 miles without a battery. Normally, you can go regular on a bike, but this bike turns into 10 heavy bikes when it doesn't have a battery. So I'm killing myself doing this route.
I see.
Still fun. Anyway, this guy picks up the phone and is like, look, I'm not even supposed to be here. You can come and leave your bike, though. I don't have a mechanic. You have to pick it up next week. And I'm like, no, dude, please. I'm doing the Empire Trail. I'm from Queens. And he's like, fine. just head over here. He met me at a gas station between the hotel and his bike shop. He was on the way to the Bronx. He said he would take my bike to the Bronx. Instead, he fixed it in a gas station, didn't even want money. We shoved $20 in his hand anyway. These bike people will fix your bike out of the love of biking and just go, fuck it.
Of course. If I knew mentally challenged people and ran into them every day, I do what I can to save them and help them when I can. So yeah, of course I'm going to help you. You're God's special angel, and it's probably a challenge. That's probably actually Jesus Christ that I'm working with. That for fun they took a bike ride and don't like going down the hill. Even God's angels love going down the hill. It's their favorite fucking thing. Well, anyways, glad you're back. Sounds like a hoot, and you had a sandwich. And I bet it's vegetable sandwich too. I bet you it's just fucking vegetables. Maybe a little cheese. Maybe. Not too much. You don't want to take away the grill taste of a vegetable. Well, here's to your week. Good for you.
How do you make everything terrible that I do?
I repeat what you say.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
No, it's a hoot. Well, Thanksgiving week's coming, so, you know.
I got to tell you, though, White Plains, shout out to White Plains, but I think you only lived there. There was nothing to do. Like, we could only take longer bike rides after we got there. Right. White Plains is very, very, very titled perfectly. It's the plainest white nonsense. We Googled, what are the top things to do in White Plains? 2 of them was go look at a lighthouse. Okay, 2. And 2 others was go to Manhattan.
Go to Manhattan. Turn around. What to do here? Goodbye here. What to do here? Why are you here? Instead of you are here, one of those maps that says, why are you here? And there's a dot and just on a all white.
Yeah. Yeah. And once you get off the trails, they don't want you there. There are no bike lanes. Everything is like, get the fuck out of my way. So, and they don't even know that the trail is there.
Is there any nervousness about with the Hamas-Israeli war? And I'm reading about hate crimes here in America that, you know, Jews and Muslims are getting again. And, you know, that's the way other countries work. When COVID came out, Asian attacks went up because we understood somehow it may have come from a lab. You know, this always happens. Do you get a little nervous?
Yeah,
like I'm walking into White Plains and I'm something.
Well, here's the weird thing. The fact that I'm something and people can't tell the difference between us two, and we can't even tell the difference between Palestine and Israelis. Like, we are the same people. So I'm not as worried because it seems like Americans are just taking a side. So whatever side they're on, they might think I'm on. Like, I don't really understand everybody's logic. They're like, free Palestine. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, free congratulations. Right. Okay, but now you hate Jews? Like, what?
Yeah, everybody does think they're on your side. I got into a cab when Trump was president, and the driver's like, finally we'll get these wetbacks out of the country. And I'm like, well, that started off fast. And what did I say? And then I was with a woman, and I was at one of my brother's places, and she's like, Trump, right? This fucking idiot. And later my brother's like, yeah, I voted for him though. Like, why does everybody just assume?
Well, it's been an interesting week on social media, and I'm trying to stay out of it because, as far as I'm concerned, this war didn't start last week. I went to yeshiva. I was born in Israel. This is biblical, and I don't just chime in like, look at. It's so interesting that people are like, the Israelis killed Muslim babies, and I'm like, what the fuck do you think you just did?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, it's called retaliation. Israel, you've been oppressing our people for this long. And I'm like, okay, then this is also called retaliation. You've been retaliating against each other for centuries, for forever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
of course it can end.
But I am a little nervous. There was, when we came back into the city, we went to a pizza place in Times Square. Joe's Pizza. Got to go to Joe's. There's one in Times Square. There's one in the West Village. There's one in Williamsburg. They're all great. Anyway, a block down, it was, there are a lot of, what do you call those when people get together and yell?
Riots, groups,
things. Protests, right? So it was a Palestine side protest. And it was just like, hey, if you don't stop, we're going to get worse. The justified killings, it's justified that we come back at you. And if you
But
don't
if
stop,
who doesn't stop? You're in Times Square. If who doesn't stop?
well, that's the thing about chance. It's, it's
Okay, I'll stop.
it doesn't give you the full program. So it's like a
Right.
little, and meanwhile, I'm like, oh shit. And you see more like Muslim people come and they're wearing the Arab scarf and everything. And I'm like, right, I'm the enemy of these people right now.
Right.
They are saying we're coming to get you. And I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be
Right.
wearing my Arab. Oh shit, I'm wearing my Arab scarf.
Is
I
there
have
like
an
a
Arab
pattern?
scarf.
Is there a
Yeah.
pattern? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely wearing an Arab scarf. Like that
It's like
is
Bloods and Crips.
identified. But here's the thing: in the 90s, the Arab scarf, I don't know if
What
you
does it
guys know,
say? What does your scarf say? Like, I call it Israeli salad. Like, what's the pattern that's obvious?
it's
What side you're on?
no, it's not obvious what side you're on. It's just Arab, and I am Arab. I'm just
Okay.
not. I'm just not Muslim. My
Right.
mother's family's from Iraq. That makes me Arab. I am not
Gotcha.
Muslim, but this is an identifier of Arab people.
Okay.
But it didn't. Oh, it always was. And then in the 90s, people started wearing it as
Fashion.
fashion. Blew my mother's mind. My mother's like,
Right.
are they just wearing that? And it was like, I was going to public school at that time, and she's like, are they? Is that person? And it's like super white people, super trendy. And I'm like, I know, it's blowing my mind too. But then a few years ago, I picked up an Arab scarf because it's beautifully thin, it's warm, it's like, it's kind of like wearing military shit.
Right.
They wear it in the desert because it's cool when it needs to be cool, it's warm when it needs to be warm. And now I'm like, oh wait, I'm wearing an identifier that tells them I'm on their side by accident.
Right.
So I'm like, oh fuck it. But then I think I don't like wearing identifiers at all. I don't want to be seen on one side or the other just walking down the street. And I thought maybe I should get this kind of scarf, but with a different pattern because nobody would notice. And then I'm like, why am I changing my patterns? And then you hear more screaming like, we're gonna come get you. And I'm like, I'm gonna leave now. It started, there was more and more people flocking, and it starts feeling a little dangerous because people are getting angry and mob-like, and
They should have a reversible scarf, and you can change what side you're on.
no, it's not one side or another. It's not,
Okay.
it's
very
not
confusing to me. Is Palestine Gaza? Is that what Palestine is?
it's so Palestine, if you look at Israel and that piece, let's say, there are
Right.
pieces of Palestine in there, right?
Okay.
Because Palestine and Israel is the same location, but they keep giving each other pieces. So there are wars, and it's like, fine, you take this piece, you take this piece, and that's what the peace treaties are about. So it's where the Muslims are occupied is called Palestine, and where the Jews are it's Israel.
I see. You think Adam should give him a phone call? What's your favorite game over there? The hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are trying to flee south. Israel gave them a warning, but where are you going to go? Israel has vowed to wipe out Hamas, the Islamic group that controls the enclave. This is in response to the October 7th terrorist attack that killed 1,400 people in Israel.
So do we know what Hamas is?
The terror organization that some Palestinians are happy are watching over them, and others are finding them to be too extremist and murdery.
Yeah, so that I think that's the problem. I think Hamas governs that part. They govern Gaza,
Okay.
and they are a terrorist organization as far as I'm concerned. But they were elected into power in 2005, and there's been no election since.
Right.
So they are the power. But then they say, Hamas attacked Israel, and then they're saying Israel is attacking Gaza. So it's like, hey, Gaza, is Hamas speaking for you? They are a terrorist organization that is saying that one of their missions is to annihilate, their words, annihilate the Jews. So what are we doing? You want to argue this? Who wants to argue this?
Who got in trouble over there that they were able to get into Israel so easily?
Well, it's right over the border.
I know, but aren't they ready at that border all the time?
They
Vehemently?
are, but it's so funny because the media is just showing Arabs throwing rocks and Israelis, with tanks on them.
Right.
That's not, no one's throwing rocks. They have the ability to murder.
Well, they
just
did.
like Israel does,
Sure.
but they have the ability. They do it. They have taken people and dragged them across because they know Israelis, as soon as they come across that border, they're so fucked. So I don't know how people are so on social media just taking
Yeah.
extreme sides, like look what Israel's doing. I'm like, Hamas fucking bombed out of nowhere and killed 1,600 civilians. And they go, well, that's in retaliation to this. And I say, then what's in retaliation to that? Like, how come one side gets to keep retaliating and the other side is just murderers? What side are you taking? Whose babies are allowed to be beheaded and murdered? Which side it's okay because they have reason, quote unquote?
I like seeing in these protests like a gay couple for Hamas. I'm like, yeah, you can go have dinner with them. I'm sure you'll last for a little bit.
You guys are talking about Hamas. Do you even know you're talking about Hamas? It's not chickpeas. We understand that, right? Do we know Hamas we're talking about? Okay.
500,000 residents have left the northern part of the region of Gaza. More than 2,600 people have died in Israeli airstrikes. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has invited Biden to visit Israel soon. It remains unclear if or when such a possible trip might occur. How do you nicely say, no, I know, I seen it. Like, no, you should know the devastation over here. No, I have the internet. I think I get it. It's not good. We'll send you. Me going over there says a different message than even us sending you weapons and money. So, I follow. It's a mess. I follow. A Chicago area landlord has been charged with hate crimes after fatally stabbing a 6-year-old Palestinian boy and wounding his mom. This is here in Chicago. And wounding his mom because they were Muslim.
That is another thing. That's another thing is for us to be fighting here in response to them.
Like anybody here is there. You know what I mean? Like, well, who are you fighting? They're not making war calls over here.
Wait, are you saying like, because I think what we're saying is you think you're helping just yelling what side you're on ignorantly. You think you're helping.
The victims were targeted by the 71-year-old suspect due to their faith and the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict involving Hamas and the Israelis. This comes amid an uptick over the past week in rhetoric targeting, quote, Jewish people as well as Muslim institutions, says the FBI director.
And there's also, as usual, there's misinformation out there, of course, and you don't have to take our word for whatever we're saying. I don't know how much we're even saying here.
Right.
But there was, did you hear about this? There was a video out there that got over 1 million hits that showed like missiles or some shit going onto a country or people or whatever. Turns out that was from a video game.
These video games are looking more and more realistic.
Right? You're believing that that's the war. So people are sharing, it feels stupid to say check your sources and do your research. I mean, to me, it feels like you're just chiming in on the Middle East right now.
Yeah, you mentioned, I didn't hear the video game thing, but I have heard about that a thing being spread around was from a Palestinian movie. And so everybody they see something, they get excited. Sorry if this is gonna hurt feelings, but all right. Yeah, Wills. Yeah, that between that and apparently Europe has a bed bug epidemic. Just stay the fuck home. Just stay home.
That's how you always have the best time off. What else did you do with your time?
Yeah, nothing. I looked at the book being formatted. 5 pages as a sample. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah, well, then I talked to Craig. Paris has reported. Paris! I say that because you would think that place is too fancy for bed bugs. Paris has reported a widespread rise in bed bugs this fall, including sightings on public transit. Ugh. Concerns have also spread to other cities. I'd rather, wouldn't be too controversial. I'd rather be in a war than know my place has bed bugs.
Okay, the things that Keith say have nothing to do with my thoughts. Okay, he doesn't believe bike rides are fun. Okay,
I want to. Okay,
I just want to be clear because you paraphrase me.
Anybody down playing bed bugs? I want you to write in now against these people that apparently want to marry bed bugs. Well, I don't find anything more. You don't know where your enemy is.
I will say this: you did join the army, so it's not like I could say I would. I got out of the Israeli army.
People that work for these bed bug companies and people that signed up to the military, they can have an opinion on this. Let's see. Netherlands, London. Experts say travelers should inspect the rooms before unpacking, including a bed check.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what am I going to do? Experts also recommend not placing your suitcase on the floor in a corner of a room. If I thought I had to put it on a table, I wouldn't go in. How's it worth it? Do you know when I walk into hotels, I stomp in my room, just randomly stomp as I walk, just in case. Just in case.
Yeah, that's actually making me nauseous. Ugh.
Right?
Yes, because it's bad enough. I try not to think about things when I'm in a hotel room because I love being in a hotel room, unless I think too hard about what the fuck is going on.
I think about how disgusting I could be with sex and food. Don't make me think about other people's sex and food.
Yeah, there are things that I do in a hotel room I wouldn't do at home.
Oh, I wouldn't do it to my worst enemy.
I had pizza in bed during this vacation.
Sure.
Come on.
Anymore.
Shit. I'm creating the bed bugs.
Hello.
Sorry, folks.
Well, we didn't know. There's a simpler time. Steelers were off this week, so no football corner today. I apologize, Kenda.
Oh, no. Why? Because of the war?
I will mention this. Now that everybody just gets a break, and ours happens to be this week. But the Olympics have decided among baseball, softball, cricket, lacrosse, and squash to have flag football, where you got to grab those two flags, I assume, two flags on either side of your body. That's how you tackle somebody. You rip those off. That's going to be an Olympic sport. Now, if you're the best of the fucking best, how doesn't that turn into real football?
Right. By accident.
How do I? No, I'm going to go for your fucking waist. I'm going to rip your whole pants down. Next thing you know, you're tackled.
Yeah, I don't know how to stop my body from hitting you.
Right.
Like, that's a whole different game, isn't it?
I don't know. Like, it was, you did it as a kid to be safe. So you weren't really tackling. But if I'm going for the gold, I'm going to go a little more aggressively. So no, maybe I wasn't given 110% when I was 12. But if I was in the Olympics, somebody's still going to break a knee. But don't worry, I still have Taylor Swift news. Even though I didn't watch any of the games. How? Because her movie is out. Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, #1, $97 million this weekend.
What's the usual for movies?
That's high.
Is it like 10 million or 20 million?
Maybe, yeah, like that. Yes. In fact, The Exorcist Believer, total gross, and it's been out for 3 weeks. That's at number 2, 11 million.
Okay. Can I please, just because we've been talking about Taylor Swift along with football, because she's dating a football guy, right?
Yes.
Is it not strange that she released her, because people are saying it's a PR stunt. Is it not weird that she released her movie while football is off?
Well,
not
football
weird?
is off? What do you mean?
There's no football to watch.
Oh, no. That was just Steelers. That's funny. No, that's every team takes a week off at different times. So regular football was played. But when you mention PR stunt, it is, I guess everything could be interesting timing, but it's interesting. There were, the Eras Tour commercials during football while Taylor Swift was at the games. It is interesting that the only games she showed up for 3 games so far, those happen to be what you knew would be a blowout.
Oh, is that a thing? Really? So
I don't know. I'm just wondering, will she only go if it's like it's quite sure that what team's got to win?
Huh.
I just wonder. I noticed when it looked like her team was not about to win, they stopped cutting to her. Was that out of politeness, or did they have to sign something? You don't show me if my team loses.
Are you kidding me? Of course they would want to show her. Do you remember? Okay, folks, let's go back in time. Madonna's on stage. Holy shit. So is Britney and Christina. And we know which Britney and Christina, right? Holy shit. Madonna just kissed Britney on stage. And we don't know from gay shit yet like we do now, right?
Right.
They cut to Justin Timberlake's reaction and they missed the Christina kiss with Madonna. Legendary shit. They cut to Justin. So they're not going to cut to Miss Swift when her man didn't get the whatever in the football.
Right. I wonder if they
really, they only want to see her happy. Right. The cameramen only want to see her happy. Okay.
Let's see. Movie
I
number
thought
2.
all of football was off.
Number 2 was they all need a break. You didn't even wonder why.
I thought that was reasonable.
I thought this was for the Eras tour.
I thought, like they have halftime. Now it's like halfway through the season or some shit. Oh, no, it can't be, right? Okay. All right, cool.
Number 2 in theaters, The Exorcist Believer, 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. None of my business.
Whoa, is that like The Exorcist number 2 or 3 or 4 or something?
It'd be like number 6.
You're out of this?
Yeah, never. But I think I have seen them all. I did like look online. I think I've happened to see them all slowly. I see everything. You're making a face.
I'm making a face because you in recent years.
Oh, you're saying why didn't I see 6? Because it really jumps around.
No, because in recent years you have said that you don't have to watch the consecutive series anymore.
Sometimes I don't. Yourself. Sometimes I can. But when it came to the number 4 movie in theaters, Saw 10, I had to see it because I did see 9 of them. What am I gonna do?
Oh, that must have been great. Oh, remember when you were making fun of my biking?
Oh, this is so much better than the biking. I wasn't.
Saw 10 is better than bike riding.
How long was your bike ride? How long was your bike ride? In beautiful weather, trying to move 10 bikes at a time, apparently.
Well, you got.
Did you cry?
Did I cry? No, I didn't.
I didn't in Saw 10 either.
One tear, I think, when I thought it might have been my motor, but I was like, and I'm not sure if there was one tear. I collected myself pretty well. Yeah,
I ended up following the Saw series for whatever reason.
I would have cried in Saw 10.
Well, there's a lot of blood and stuff. It's funny, these movies, it goes back in time. So you see like 2 main characters, from other movies how they die. So they're not going to die. So you're not really scared when I think you're supposed to be scared about their lives. It's like, no, they're going to be fine. We know that. So who's so scared? But Saw 10, he makes Saw, right? He makes these traps, and you're going to be a better person by mutilating yourself somehow. You'll learn that life is important.
I never saw any of them, but as I understand them, he traps them in a room and gives them
a game,
awful things to decide between, right? Like it's like a would you rather in real life.
Kind of. It's you have to cut off your fingers to live. Are you willing
to
cut off your fingers?
So would you rather live or die?
Yes.
Okay.
And some of these traps, I'm like, fucking kill me. Like one in this new movie was like he has to click a knob and a machine breaks his fingers one at a time. It's like, then put it all the way and break them all at once, or just die.
And that's it? You get out once your fingers break?
Yeah, some people have tougher challenges than others. Like one person had to cut their leg off.
Oh my God. What happens after? So, okay, you cut your leg off.
And you realize that life is important and what you did in the first place was wrong. And that's why the good guy kidnapped you.
But how do you not die once you do that?
Right.
Oh, really? There's not
a lot of medical follow-ups.
I'm just wondering, do you get let go limping and you get in a car or something? Like, how do you?
Sometimes they show he'll open the good guy will open up like a first aid kit, and you're like, okay, I guess he's gonna be okay.
For sawing the leg off,
right?
Okay, so then let's say you break all your fingers and the door does the door open? How does he go like, okay, you did the thing? What happens?
This guy really. This one's in Mexico. I don't know where he got burnt in Mexico from somebody. He got tricked in a big.
Obviously,
bad
this
way.
is all revenge, and it all makes sense because somebody hurt you, so you're allowed, right?
Right.
Okay.
So somehow he got all these equipment in Mexico, put them all together by himself. Yes, and yeah, all of a sudden the door opens. This guy's a mechanical genius. This guy is an engineer, a chemist, electrician with super strength. I don't know why he couldn't cure his own cancer, quite frankly. Kind of weird, kind of interesting. It's like Batman. You want to solve crime? Why don't you just solve poverty? So anyways, it's these big contraptions that somehow he built himself. And yes, then the door open and they'll be like, oh, thank God, I'm a better person now. Somehow you're not angrier that you lost your arm. You're like, I shouldn't have robbed in the first place. And they kept it. And as the Saw movie started going on, the reasons you were trapped got kind of lazier. You extended the deadline on your taxes, but you didn't keep that promise either. I'm like, come on, Jigsaw. Some people you can let go.
Oh, so he's like, you've been a bad person.
Yes. Hurt
You're
yourself.
now gonna and they so while they're being traumatized, they're learning a lesson.
Yes.
It's not a reflective thing. So they're like, oh, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
And then without their leg, they leave and then get in a car. Like, were they kidnapped in their own car? Like, did they take a bus?
Different places. He likes to wear a pig head and kidnap you.
But he kidnaps you and then opens the door and you just go.
Well, he kidnaps you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're in the contraption. We don't have time to see how it's actually done. This guy that's dying from cancer and is very frail.
He's been dying from cancer for 10 movies?
Yeah, but they go back in time sometimes, blah, blah, blah. He is dead.
This is what Saw is?
Yep.
For 10 movies. So you guys just like watching people hurt themselves?
Yes.
That's it. Like, what else is there?
Nothing.
Are you learning a lesson? You're just like, oh, this guy's gonna saw off his nose.
I keep thinking one time I'm gonna be able to make one of the contraptions, but they really never give you enough information.
Okay, I think Ryan V is right when he says it's gamified murder porn. There's a new genre of movie because I don't know what you people are watching.
I feel bad because I sent a link from the Saw 10 movie and I wrote, fuck you, Hamas, this is bullshit. And it's embarrassing. It's from a movie. Oh my God. Oh, well. Let's see. Oh, I saw the movie Dumb Money. It's not doing good in theaters, but it's the GameStop story. I liked it a lot. And I think only because I got caught up in that shit for a second. But,
you know what? I think I have to watch that because I think I bought like $5 or something.
Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth feeling invested.
Yeah, it's my worst stock. I haven't gotten rid of it. I just like scroll down sometimes and I'm like, you still suck. Anyway.
It's very simple. Like, you don't need a investment degree, but I liked it.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. And I mentioned this on a VIP show, but let me mention it again. Now on Peacock. Strays. The dog, animated, not animated, the dog movie. It looks like real life, but they obviously animate these characters' mouths and you hear them talk English, of course. Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx. It is Oscar worthy. It is so fucking good. And I'm not joking.
Is it a feelings movie?
Yeah, kind of, but it's for adults and everything's cursing and like very deliberately pushing the curse in, dogs telling cats to fuck off. It's so funny.
That's all you needed in a movie.
I do need cursing, I see Star Wars.
Dogs telling cats to fuck off.
Yeah, that's important to me. Like Star Wars, there's an action scene, things are blowing up. I just want to see one character running around. Fuck. No, everybody's calm during all these wars and explosions. I love cursing in a movie. It really does make it. And that's what made this movie, where a dog's mission is to find his abusive owner at the end and bite his dick off. And it's so fucking good.
That's funny.
It is so fucking good.
Oh, that's very funny.
And I see it's getting terrible reviews, but it's from idiot parents that go into me. You ever see these people? They go into movie theaters. They just look at a poster and go, I guess this. So they see dogs and they're like, oh, okay, it's a dog movie. And then they go, oh, 1 star. And only because I have to give it 1 star by law. I can't believe this is a blah, blah, blah. No, it's dogs telling cats to fuck off.
I feel like I used to do that when I was 14, because when I was 14, I was allowed a certain radius of the house. Right. So I got to go to where a movie theater was. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to the movies. And I just was like, it's got to be a movie that I would see. But it was like, 7-8 movie theater thing. And I'm 14. I'm not allowed into anywhere else. So
Right.
it's this and pizza. Let's go.
I
I
remember
already went bowling yesterday.
a Wolverine movie came out, and some older lady was looking at the posters, talking to herself, deciding what to say. And then she saw Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's like, oh, from the Oscars or the Tonys. He's a sing and dance guy who happens to also play Wolverine.
Oh,
We
that's
both went into
funny.
the same movie. She was my movie. I'm just like sneaking glances at her, and she's like, I got like, but doesn't feel like she should leave because maybe she's missing something.
Mm.
But she's like, this isn't the
She's supporting her
greatest
new
show on
man.
earth. She was supporting her man. That's right. Speaking of movies, this Monday is the next Silent Trailer show. I'm going to be destroying some of the nicest people. By the way, this lineup, to be clear, was made before the latest war. I want to say that. Melody Kamali, Ather Yakub, Kerry Gravidson, and Dave Hill. Where's this show at? It's live on YouTube. Just be subscribed. Click the bell, click the shit, click the likes, all that. This Monday, October 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to bust them, and we'll see you there.
I'm afraid to ask you this, but I'm
Yes.
going to. We talked about this on last week on Keith and the Girl.
Mhm.
By the way, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. Make sure you're subscribed. Anyway, I brought up a show that had 8 episodes, I believe, on Netflix original. It's a heist show.
Oh, yes.
And everyone's going to watch
Kaleidoscope.
it. Yes, everyone's going to
Okay.
watch it in a different order.
That's dumb.
And you got all mad because you didn't think everyone's going to watch it in a different order.
Because I looked on Netflix and the order was the same as other people's Netflix. I didn't know you actually have to start it and then it picks a random one for you.
Right. You decided to yell at me first, and that's fine.
No, I've learned that with Craig.
brand.
Let me take a day. Maybe you're not the goofiest motherfucker ever when it comes to movies, TVs, or celebrities. Maybe I don't know you, and that was wrong with me.
What?
Yeah, it's a new me.
All right.
I am sorry.
Oh my God.
Based on that, I went with knowing you for years and years and years that we have a game show coming on Monday called Silent Trailers because you know nothing about TV movies, less about actors and actresses. And this time you happen to get something right about a TV show, and I dismissed it as if you were bonkers. And for that, I apologize.
Okay, now I'm more comfortable with your apology.
Okay.
That is way more understanding coming out of that face of yours. Okay, so did you watch it?
No, I'm not watching this.
Okay.
No, a show where half the fun of that shit is you're talking about it with other people. I'm on purple, you're on yellow. Who gives a fuck?
How long is it going to take you to watch the whole series that you can't talk about it?
Then why is that fun? Then that ruins the whole gimmick too. This sounds like work. I don't like it.
All right. It's a heist movie, so I can't recommend it. It's like everything that's supposed to happen in a heist. There's a twist. I thought you were on my side, on the other side, who did it, that kind of thing. But I thought it was interesting that they would try that.
Are there plot holes? It's a heist movie.
Of course. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
It's fucking ridiculous.
This is still
one of the heists. Okay. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
The heist to get enough money to do the main heist, because they need like $500,000 or $1 million or 10 million. I don't fucking know.
Right.
They do like a small heist to get funded for their heist. They go to the Diamond District in Manhattan. You're familiar with this place?
Sure.
It is a block or two, in Manhattan.
I mean, I don't know what I can say nowadays. Both sides.
In Manhattan, there's like a flower district where like every store on the block is flowers. There's a Diamond District. Now this Diamond District, they put little bombs in garbages, and then there's chaos, and they go and steal some jewels. Fucking everyone on that block has a gun. Okay.
Right.
You are not going anywhere in that district and doing anything. There was everything needed to end right there. You do not heist the fucking jewelry district, and they're walking around like
every door is buzzed,
It's not just that. Like there are people with guns all over, and they're walking around, and it's a heist movie, so they're like the coolest people. They're practically smoking a cigar doing this, so they're like, look at that guy, he's being so obvious that he's a guard, and that guy has like a gun and this thing, and that guy's walking funny because he's obviously looking up for this store. And I'm like, Yeah, they're all looking at you guys going, these people are going to try to heist this fucking block like a bunch of morons. And you'd be dead just looking at them that way because you're so fucking suspicious on that block. It's the Diamond District. You're dead.
Right.
Anyway, shout out to Israel.
So I probably won't see it. I probably won't see it. But it's funny they have guns over here too. Interesting. Did you see that?
I went subtle. Okay.
Jada Pinkett Smith is yapping. She's got a new book coming out. Literally comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
It's called Worthy. Finally worthy. Okay, are you finally worthy, you gorgeous superstar? Hey, we all got problems. I hate her so much.
You really do. You really do. She bothers you so much.
She bothered because she acts Oprah-esque, and there's really nothing there. And she's keeping these stupid Will Smith problems going. Not that I'm team Will Smith, who gives a shit, but she encourages problems and there's no fucking solution. Then you'll see a video like, hey, talking to our therapist, and our therapist probably like Esther Perel or whoever the fuck, and like, hey, look, is that a person?
Know about Esther Perel?
Probably you.
Okay.
Your bike broke 2 months ago. You were praying to her or something, and so he holds the phone and goes, look, me and Will, we might need to see you again. We're having troubles. And Will goes, are you doing like putting me on social media? Like, yeah, we're on social media. Okay, I don't like that. It's kind of embarrassing to say, meaning I'm probably live right now, but that's literally my bread and butter right now. And you can't do that. Oh, there he goes again. Will's going off. Looks like we need help after all. And like all this little weird petty shit that this boy is your cock. It's just interesting. And he's putting up with it, I guess. So who gives a fuck? But there's always little things. So anyway, here's the latest. When asked, she did an interview with Parade. She did an interview, with People Magazine. There's another one that I'll find in a second. But anyway, she said about the Oscar slap. Of course, Chris Rock made a joke about her being bald. You look like you're going to be in G.I. Jane 2. He should have got slapped because it was so stupid, but not that he's really making fun of. So later, we found out she has alopecia. Like,
you should have slapped him into 1980 when that movie got made. Yeah.
By the way, both are hot. Demi Moore, shaved head. Jada Pinkett Smith's shaved head. But okay, what a zing. And then you see Will Smith laughing. Then you see Jada Pinkett Smith have a look on her face. Like, first she's either looking, you can think like, what did that mean? Or she's like, I'm angry about what you just said. Next thing you know, you don't, because they cut the camera away. People are not good with cutting these cameras away. You don't see Will Smith. Obviously, he must have got a face straight right away, but you just see him walking up on the stage, and he slaps Chris Rock. Of course, sits back in his bed. Chris Rock goes, what the fuck? And that's when, of course, Will Smith says, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. I like that you said Will Smith got off stage, went back in his bed. Did I say that? Yeah, he almost did. He's in the front row. He's a superstar. That couch was like the size of a bed. He was King Poobah. I thought this is a skit, said Jada Pinkett. Like many people watching the incident unfold on live TV, she didn't believe it was real at first. Quote, I was like, there's no way that Will hit him. It wasn't until is so smart. I didn't even know. That's so smart. Jada says it wasn't until Will started to walk back to his chair that I even realized it wasn't a skit. The first words she uttered to Will once they were alone after the show were, quote, are you okay? Jada Pinkett Smith recalls also being confused after hearing Will Smith call her his wife at the Oscars. First of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. They have lived apart for at least 6 years. They didn't get a technical divorce, but they do not go by husband and wife. So when he says, keep your wife, is he trying to get her back? Is he looking like a bitch in general? And so he has to do something. He just throws out the wife word. Doesn't it seem like he had a moment where he's not okay? Yeah, sure. And he's just not okay. So I don't. With that said, something still was going on. What was it? We're still trying to figure it out, she says of the marriage. We've been doing some really heavy duty work together. We just got deep love for each other, and we're going to figure out what that looks like.
This is more confusing than anything. Are you getting anything out of this?
I'm getting that Chris Rock is like, I don't want to be a Chappelle and beat shit to the ground forever, but I can't do 20 more minutes on this bullshit. That wasn't even your wife. Let's see. Our relationship is fractured. There's a lot of things going on. I think by the time we got to 2016, meaning her and Will Smith, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be. This is why I don't like her. I bet you in the book, there's not a further explanation to any of this shit. I made a promise there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through it. I haven't been able to break that promise. Amid years-long rumors about the state of their marriage, she claimed, we're finding all this from her, that Chris Rock even asked her out years ago when he understood the two were divorcing. Well, there's something there, isn't there?
Fucking what?
So what? But there's something there. Like, so is Will Smith like, you motherfucker? I know that you tried to hit on my wife. Now you're making jokes at her expense. I don't know what to do.
What are we? This is like
12 year old. This is all we got. You want to go back to Hamas? This is exciting shit. It's her book. No.
I get it, but like all of these storylines, I don't understand. Like, maybe because he asked your ex out, like, really? No.
But there's something, like, he's not pleased. I don't know if they ever worked together, but if, somebody hits on my wife, a friend or, a colleague, and didn't check with me if there's a fucking divorce, it might be in my head, you asshole. And then something else happens, and maybe a third thing happens. I don't know.
Yeah, because if it's hysterical, it's historical. Right. So it's not just that one moment. Yes, maybe that's one of the aspects, but all of these things seem so small. So they must have added up, and he also must not have been in an okay head.
Sure. Do I have any desire to talk to Chris? She said, Chris Rock. Here's my desire. I just hope that all the misunderstanding around this can be cleared up and that there can be peace. That's why I don't like her. She's saying nothing. She's using big words. You're writing a book. You couldn't talk to Chris. This is the only way you could do it. Directly after the slap, Jada says Chris came downstage to speak to her during a pause in the live broadcast. Chris came down at the end of the stage and tried to apologize to me. He said, I didn't mean any harm. I can't talk about this now, Chris, she says. This is some old shit.
Oh.
I thought it was about the Oscar 2016. That's when Will Smith didn't get nominated for Concussion, the football movie about everybody getting concussed. And she said, in fact, if not a lot of black people at all at the Oscars, I'm going to boycott it. That's what it was. I'm going to boycott it because of this. And it's like, well, because Will Smith didn't get in. That's why you're boycotting it. And then Chris Rock's like, so it's a little awkward now, though, because I'm hosting it. So I'm a piece of shit now. So that's what she's referencing. Does that make sense?
I see. So the year that she was boycotting because there weren't any black people in the Oscars, he happened to be hosting it. Okay.
Yes. Let's see. There's stuff that even came into the picture in the late 80s. No explanation for that. I've got to leave that to Will and Chris to talk about, but they got their stuff for sure. Was Jada, who lives with alopecia, offended by the joke about her shaved head? I mean, that's what comedians do, she says. I would just have to say that I'm not really here to make any judgment on how people decide to express themselves and express their art. I'll say that several times I've had my feelings hurt for sure. I've had my feelings hurt a lot by Chris, but at the end of the day, too, being in the spotlight, it comes with the territory. She also brought up, speaking of alopecia, the love of her life, her soulmate, but they couldn't make it work, was Tupac. And he also had alopecia. He didn't speak to it due to social pressures at the time. Who the fuck asked? Me and Will are trying to make it work, by the way. Tupac, love of my life, my soulmate, couldn't make it work, but that's okay. You need more? He has alopecia. Did you think she's talking to a ghostwriter and didn't know like what's gonna stick? It's like, tell me something juicy. Like, I don't know. Tupac had alopecia, and now she has to act like she wrote the book, so she can't complain about how dumb it is.
How old wasn't Tupac? Like 23 when he died?
Well, that's when you really feel your love,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, before you're damaged.
Dear Keith and Kenda, I'm a 40-year-old male, a little high on edibles, and I just took a shit, but still give a pretty solid log about this email. The last couple of weeks' episodes with all the open and candid medical and cancer talks have been absolutely top notch. I found a lump in one of my testicles in June and had it removed as it was deemed cancerous. That he has to do that in one of the Saw movies. When I got diagnosed, there wasn't a ton of info online for the answers to the questions. This guy didn't park properly in a parking lot, so he had to rip off a testicle. When I got diagnosed, there wasn't a ton of info online for the answers to the questions that I had. Like, where does my dick go during the ultrasound? How long until I can ride a roller coaster again? When can I and what kind of sex can I have that feels good on my penis? So the fact that everyone...
that sounds like a genuine question. Were you reading that or... Yeah.
No, I was reading that. Yeah. And what kind of sex can I have that feels so good on the penis after surgery, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a great question. Yeah.
So the fact that everyone coming on is being so open about their medical findings and also walking through the doctor processes has just been the best. Thanks for bringing levity to that kind of stuff and using your brilliant interview and host skills to get some great info for others that may be scared to take care of their scary medical thing. Just wanted to add that made me laugh the most was in episode 3726 when Candace said that she was Googling images of healthy x-rays because I literally did the same shit after my initial ultrasound. They put up the x-ray on the wall and they go, all right, someone will see you soon, leave you alone. And you're like, well, what am I looking at? I'm still fucking curious.
Because you know what? When I did have a tumor, the x-ray showed it so clearly. You know, the x-ray was dark. So right. I'm thinking, here's a CAT scan of my chest. Maybe it's that obvious. And oh boy, was it not.
Come to find out, I'm definitely not a doctor because I can 100% for sure not accurately read an ultrasound image.
You know what? That it actually made me feel better, right? And I think it sounds like it made this person feel better too, because it's like, okay, how obvious is this? And so I'm like, oh, you can tell. Okay, medical degree. Okay, great.
He goes, first of all, this is before the surgery. He goes, it looked fine to me. Now he's gone forever. Fuck him, he says. Thanks again, R.I.P. Righty. He named his. Eric.
Yay. You know what? It is so annoying and such bullshit to go to doctors. And then when you find out you have in anything, then it becomes even more of a hassle. I'm not going to fucking bullshit anybody. It's a hassle. It's a thing on your to-do list now. It's every day I have to call a doctor or go to a doctor. I'm not kidding. Even now, even years after my surgery, there's just stuff that you have to do. There's stuff that you did you check your colon yet, Keith? You got to do it. I have to get a mammogram. Like, it's boring. It sucks. They're not really that warm all the time because they're using the other side of their brain, and it's so worth doing. So if that's the PSA that we're putting out, yay and yay and yay. And it is so much better to go through this bullshit than let it go.
We decided, after all, we're going to play the beginning of, I'm going to add it to this show, the beginning of the show we did with Newsy about our old intern Emmy. She passed away. And that's from episode Q&A number 136, Claire. And I'm getting some letters and personal texts even about that they liked hearing it because the complexity of losing somebody, but maybe they weren't necessarily nice to you, but at the same time, life is life. Again, Newsy's show 136, Claire. This episode of the pod, he says starts a little serious. Life happens and we have to talk about it. And then he goes on for a little bit. Rod said, you know what's really sad? There's a video on YouTube from like maybe 7 to 8 years ago. It's 8 minutes long, and it's Keith and Chemda reading Emmy's letter to Chemda. They joke about Chemda being her mom. Emmy encourages everyone to give to the Kickstarter out of love. And then at the end, Chemda shouts out Emmy and her blog at the time. I teared up watching it based on this latest episode. Life ain't shit, man. This person says, Lil Pie, I believe. This is why Emmy's death is hitting me so hard. You can tell that she was freaking brilliant while listening to her on the show. So much potential tamped down, maybe trampled down by hate, and life isn't guaranteed. Another comment, phenomenal episode as per usual. I'm always happy to see long episodes. Yeah, I do want people to hear it. Life is complicated sometimes, and if hearing another perspective that makes you think about what you're dealing with helps, I think that'd be good. Any other thoughts before we play it?
I don't.
No pressure.
I guess not. I'm sure I have more thoughts than I've expressed, and I don't know them all yet. This is a very complicated thing. She did not like me, and we haven't spoken in years, but she was an incredible human being.
That's it.
Okay. You turned right on that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. All right. Oh, hi, we're still live. Okay. Oh, I think it just like, okay, let's look at the chat for a second.
All right.
Hi, you guys. This isn't going to be part of the actual show. He's going to play that clip. I don't know how many of you guys heard it, but yeah, I guess when I hear her name right now, I go somewhere for a second.
Sure.
I'm not fully digested yet. Okay. D. Jason says, check those nuts, ball havers. Very
I do
nice.
it I do it like 3 times a day, I think.
I think what you're doing is different, but we don't have to go into that right now.
Okay.
Let's see. I thought she had a talent with words. Yes, love to me. And side note, a couple of people have been reaching out saying, hey, what were we fighting about? Let's just be friends. And maybe that has to do with this. Yeah, maybe. Because you did say if anyone gets in touch, do you care? And I thought about it. I wasn't mad at anybody.
Right.
All of a sudden, I just didn't have friends. So I'm not mad. But
did you write back at all?
Yeah. No, I write back
like kind of what you say.
Oh no, I didn't write back everybody because I'm not going to say who, but one person used the Israel conflict to get in touch, and I'm like, not you, and not you, and and another person was like, hey, could we start over? And I was like, yeah, let's start over.
Yeah, you started though, like
and,
right?
And they did, and it was nice. It was it was reasonable, and we back and forth. So it wasn't like, oh, you were drunk and now you're not.
Right.
Yeah. So whatever. Good. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you for listening. Click all the buttons. It's nice to see you. It's nice to be back.